Nick had a idea, New Year's resolution, I believe it was, that he wanted to brew beer. And I think the goal was within 12 months of his first brew that he'd sell beer to somebody, whoever that might be. And as we were into brewing, of course, as we're brewing beer and as we're drinking beer and talking about beer and breweries and that sort of thing, we could see that as faster than we could brew a batch of beer, that these other breweries, communities and distributorships and other operations were coming into St. Cloud and selling through products so fast. I mean, we were a part of the problem. We were drinking it. And
one night, over the fruits of our labor, we decided St. Cloud needs a brewery and we should put it here.
You know, we wanted to just use the old Bo Diddley space, and when we thought we were going to put a 15-barrel brew house in there, you know, it was a rude awakening when we had to keep knocking down walls. Luckily, those spaces were vacant, and we had the ability to just keep knocking down those walls and keep until we finally had enough space to fit everything that we need. Work that we had to put into demolition and bringing that place back up to what it was just insane. I don't know if I'd do that again the same way, but we did it.
So in 2015, we launched February 4th, 5th, and 6th. It was a 3-day weekend of 10 bars and restaurants. That's where we started. We opened the tap room up a few weeks later on February 21st. Our goals were to do between 500 and 1,000 barrels. We really didn't know what the system was capable of, and more importantly, very naively, we didn't know what the market was capable of. At the end of 2015, we were at 65 bars and restaurants that carried our product, of which about 60-ish, maybe a little lower than that, were in St. Cloud, and we had a handful up in Duluth.
Literally, we would all show up in the morning. We would be brewing beer, kegging beer, cleaning kegs, you know, doing cellar work, that sort of thing. Nick and Kern would get in the Sprinter van, they'd load it up with kegs, and off to the bars and restaurants they'd go. And at the end of the day, we'd all meet back there, and we'd take our brewing boots off and take our sales shirts off, and we'd put our taproom, you know, outfit on, and we'd be up there, start slinging beers, and we'd be there till 11 o'clock. We were literally zombies for the first 12 months of the operation because we were doing everything.
Growth has been the biggest challenge for us over the last 2 years, and how we continue to hold on to this rocket ship and stop it from crashing into a planet or a star. Over the last 2 years, we've taken ourselves from 784 barrels. Last year we did 1,284 barrels. This year we're projecting to do over 3,600 barrels of beer. So we're growing, we're growing, we're growing. And as we were growing, we knew that packaged products was the next step for our brewery. We had reached our potential in the north with draft, and we needed another point of distribution. And there are more liquor stores in the state than there are bars and restaurants. And velocity at the liquor stores are significantly higher than bars and restaurants. So packaged products was the next step for us. And we knew that in the footprint we had downtown that it wasn't possible, it wasn't feasible to try to can out of that facility. So we knew we needed another option. After some negotiations, we landed out at the St. Cloud Airport Industrial Park, where we bought 4.5 acres and have now built a 10,000 square foot facility with the 24-foot high sidewalls that we were looking for. So this new facility will be primarily focused on canning. In fact, through our projections for the first 8 months, that's all it will do is can beer. Our projections for 2017 are 100% growth, for 18 100% growth, for 19 100% growth, and then finally we start to plateau at 2020. We are a brewery, and we still figure out ways to work with the Boys and Girls Club, District 742, you know, Anna Marie's Alliance, FGHC Active, Boy Scouts of America. We figure out ways to kind of insert ourselves into the community so we're not just taking up space. Justin Michael was looking to raise whatever it was, 100,000 diapers in the course of the month of December. We saw that they had some room to grow, so we inserted ourselves and said, how can we help? What can we do to be a part of this? And the way that we were able to do that was through our pints program. So for every box of diapers that was brought in, we donated to that customer a pint. So it was an incentive for them to give, they got something for it, and it was just a cool experience. When people ask us, how do you think you got where you are today? Luck. A whole bunch of hard work and luck. I mean, that's the reality of it. We were at the right time, at the right place. We knew St. Cloud was right for the picking. We knew that it was the place we wanted to put our brewery, and we wanted to put our stamp on it because we were so proud to be from here. And to be able to say that we're from here and this is what we did and we're trying to give back as much as we can, I wake up every morning very proud.
My father worked for Cold Spring Electric during the day, and we wired houses at night. So we all learned how to wire, you know, from 10 years old on up. So that's where the training started. And my parents were in the business for numerous years, as MJB Electric, and in 1962 he started that, and then in 1972 purchased a shop in Litchfield, Minnesota, and named it Design Electric. Actually, I went to college and went to vocational school for electrical at the same time. Graduated out of those and had my license about a month after I got out of the school, and we took off from there. I have a brother who took over MJB, I took over design, and then we both worked in separate realms of the industry. He was more of a power plant guy, we were more of commercial industrial, and that's how it progressed. My heart was wanting to be a lawyer, but my father had a heart attack and kind of bullied me into hanging around for a year until he got better, and guess what? He got better but never wanted back, so he kind of tricked me. Is that how that, you want to put it? That's the facts. So.
After I graduated, Doug took me on, and I gravitated to residential work at that time, and then moved into light industrial, bigger commercial jobs. Doug continued to buy equipment. We started bidding more and more larger jobs, and at that time Doug and I would kind of figure out our work. We'd bid it, we'd get it, we'd manage it, buy the material. Most of the time we were out on the field actually doing the work. As we grew, we took on more employees, and at that time we found some really good employees that basically could do the work in the field probably better than we could. We just needed to tell them what the end result was and let them go. And I think once we mastered that, that helped us grow more, because then we spent more time building the company, getting more work. And time went fast. Here we are with 100 employees, and we started with 10.
They're our biggest project that started us, and then our spurt of growth was the East Addition and the St. Cloud Hospital. That took 60 plus electricians back in early 2000s, and that kind of got us on our feet as far as doing large-scale work with large-scale general contractors. So we've done all the significant size buildings in the city for the last 15 years, I would say. Transportation part of the business is the newest part of us. That's probably early 90s. It's traffic signals, of course, and then there's weather stations, automatic traffic recording. In other words, we count all the axles on all the state highways. And actually there's video. There's all the weather stations have video along, like when you see the video on TV in the morning. Cameras along the highways.
The mix of work we do, I think, sets us apart. We do hospital work, government work, transportation work, heavy industrial work, medium voltage work, a lot of difficult work, a lot of work that's got to be done in a hurry, a lot of work that takes a lot of smarts to put it together. We've never been afraid to tackle anything like that, and I like to think that that's a plus for us, that not every shop is willing to put that much effort into it like Doug and I have over the years. Kudos I have to give to Doug. I don't know anyone that is more willing to invest money back into the company. We want the public to know that they see our trucks all over and we're doing a lot of work, but we do give it back to the community. And a lot of it started with Centricare and St. Cloud Hospital. We do a lot of work for them. We sponsor their Holly Ball. We do all the decorating and lighting for that. And then there's St. Benedict's Spring Fling, it's called. We do the same thing. We sponsor that and decorate. Catholic Charities, Mardi Gras, we do that. We do a lot of individual stuff for churches. If our employees belong to a church that has a fundraiser, we usually contribute to that or help them decorate. The most rewarding part of being in this business for me has been seeing the people, co-workers around me, growing and accomplishing things that I never thought we would ever accomplish when Doug and I first started. We have just a super group of people in the office that help us get the work, And the employees in the field are probably the most talented, innovative people that I know.
The contracting business, you have to have a heart and soul in, and we do that.
I've been in construction pretty much my whole life. Back when I was in high school, my dad, used to take us out of school to help on projects. In the summer, we worked in the field, working all the time, construction. So I kind of grew up in that industry. The recession back in the late 70s hit. And at that time, my dad had a business, construction business, same as what I'm doing now. It wasn't very big, so we had, I think, 4 or 5 people working for him at a time. But things really took a turn for the worse. The interest rates were 20, 21%, whatever it was. There was absolutely no building going on, and we did a lot of ag business back then. So he had some projects going on, and he asked me the winter when I was my last year in school if I would be willing to lead the few guys that he had. When you sit around the dinner table and hear him talk about losing a house and selling a farm, and that really makes an impact. So I guess for me it impacted me enough that sure, it really wasn't what I had planned, but I guess of course in the end it worked out all right. That was quite a challenge for me, going from high school. I was 17 years old when I graduated, and thought I had no plans except for go to Votech, and whether or not that was going to work out or not. I guess I was really, maybe you could say, a lost soul. And then I kind of migrated to St. Cloud, and then from there started back on my own as just doing smaller residential work, and then eventually got into the bigger commercial apartments. Migrated from residential with 1 or 2 guys working to the apartments, and then from there it just morphed into bigger and bigger projects, commercial work, industrial projects. Biggest challenge at Kay Johnson after it was established, was a recession back in 2008, 2009. Until that point, things were just humming along. I mean, the whole economy in general was, great guns. We couldn't find enough people. We were turning down work everywhere, and mainly in this area, which was good. And I remember talking to a friend of mine who's a contractor, and he said, Kevin, I can't believe it. It's like the faucet just turned off. I mean, the job shut off, the bank shut off financing, everything just quit. To make this work, I proposed to the guys to take a pay cut, and they all did, including me. I took the biggest pay cut, and every one of them that stepped up and said, absolutely, whatever it's going to take to help you out. So, I can say I'm really grateful to the guys for stepping up, and people in the office. Everybody did, right across the board. Everybody took a pay cut. So we got into the government contracting work. Boy, we did kind of a wide range of things. We did some solar work for the government. We built some bridges, something that was way outside of what we would normally do. We did some geothermal work. A couple of guys on the crew got certified to install geothermal. The guys that I've got working there, they're not afraid to take on, hey guys, I got an idea. What do you think? Sounds good.
Kevin's a big thinker, and he likes to come up with new ideas, innovative ideas, and probably some things I don't even know he's working on right now. But I really appreciate the fact that he does think that way, because for us as small businesses, we're all looking to try and figure out what the next new thing is or something that people need.
In 2005, Kevin learned about an industry trend for treating exposed concrete, making it a colorful and durable finished floor. One of only 3 companies in Minnesota to introduce the new process, it took a lot of selling at first, but today, Polished Concrete Plus employs 10 people. In 2012, Kevin began manufacturing decorative, precast concrete products for a company in the Twin Cities. These include fire pit tops, outdoor kitchen and bar tops, and fireplace mantles. Established just this year as Minnesota Concrete Products, the company's growth has been staggering, coming in at 40% per year.
Oh my gosh, the growth has been exponential, and we went from again pouring one top a day to now we're pushing out over 100 tops per week.
In 2013, Kevin turned a hobby into a new business. Tri-County Organics started with a simple plan to collect yard waste and turn it into compost for his farm. 4 years later, the business has 2 employees, collects food waste from schools, grocery stores, and restaurants, and offers a variety of recycling and composting services to residential and commercial customers.
Really didn't start out as this is what I'm going to do for business, but as I get into it, well, if we're going to make this work, I better try and make it work.
Kevin's integrity is the top. I don't know somebody that has a higher integrity in business and in our business community.
You get the right people on board and it makes it a lot easier. And I'm, again, grateful for everybody I have working here.